For a lot of people living with herpes, hearing the word no can feel like rejection on a whole new level. Like suddenly it's proof that you're not lovable or good enough because of your condition. But here's the truth. It's not that their no hurts. It's what someone's no triggers inside of you. So you start doing everything you can to prove you're worth a yes. But this is where people get mixed up. Because the more you chase someone's yes, the more stuck you become, and it can cost you big time. Real freedom comes from when you learn how to move through the no's, accept them, and realize that they don't define you. Hi, I'm Dupree, and I help people to navigate life with herpes. If this is your first time listening to the Herpes Wellness Podcast, I'd like to welcome you. And if you've been here before, welcome back. I am so glad that you're here because today's episode is taking back something most people don't even realize they've given away: themselves. For so many people, a herpes diagnosis becomes the start of constantly seeking approval from potential partners, friends, and even family. I mean, let's be honest. We all want to be liked, accepted, and loved. But when you start believing that your worth depends on someone else saying yes to you, you lose sight of who you are. Because real confidence doesn't come from someone else's approval. It comes from knowing that you're still enough, even when someone says no. Let's get real for a second. When you're living with herpes, it's easy to get caught up of wanting everyone to like you, or at the very least, not to judge you. But the truth of the matter is, you don't need everyone to say yes to you. Not everyone's going to care to understand your situation, and not everyone's going to stick around. And honestly, not everyone's meant to. And here's the truth. If you love yourself, know your worth, and you're comfortable in your own skin, then someone else's yes isn't required. Their approval doesn't define your value. Their comfort doesn't determine your confidence. And their choice, sure as hell, doesn't have the final say on your self-worth. Does rejection suck? Hell yeah, it does. And I'd be lying to you if I said it didn't. I mean, we get rejected so many times throughout our lives and for so many reasons, and eventually we get past it. But for some reason, when it comes to herpes, we allow everyone's opinion about it to make us feel different. Like as if being told no suddenly feels personal and that it's some sort of proof that we're unworthy of love or a life of happiness. But here's the thing. When you're totally secure in who you are, rejection of any kind doesn't bother you as much anymore. Because the more you learn to accept yourself and your condition, the less you need anyone else to. You stop performing, you stop people-pleasing, and you stop bending over backwards to be liked. Now, I'm not saying that you will totally get over someone saying no, and it's not like you could just turn your feelings off like a faucet. It takes time and practice to get to this place. And at the end of this episode, I'm going to share 4 things that you can put into practice to help you get there. But first, let's talk about what chasing a yes really means and how that energy might be keeping you stuck and pushing away people. Let's be honest. When you're chasing a yes, it shows. People can feel that energy. When you're trying to prove yourself or earn someone's approval, even if you never say it out loud, your energy still says, please choose me. This is what happens when you tell someone you have herpes and then instead of getting quiet and waiting for their reaction to show you how they feel about it, you jump right in and you start explaining yourself in hopes that someone will like you regardless of your condition. And let me tell you something. That energy, it pushes people away. One of my favorite authors of all time, Brené Brown, talks about how the fear of not being liked isn't really about other people at all. It's actually about the shame we carry and the deep fear of not being worthy of love or belonging. And for people living with herpes, that shame can feel even stronger. Because if you already grew up feeling like you weren't enough, or you've carried old wounds around, rejection or belonging, herpes can bring all of that to the surface. So herpes doesn't create the shame, it compounds it. You start to worry that potential partners will say no, that friends might pull away, or that your family will see you differently. And that fear of being rejected, not just romantically, but emotionally, socially, and even within your own circle, can make you start hiding parts of yourself. You downplay who you are and you hold back your truth and you shrink more and more each time you're afraid of how someone might respond. But here's the thing. When you hide, you block the very thing you're looking for: real connection. You can't find love, friendship, or belonging by pretending to be someone you're not. True connection only happens when you're authentic, when you stop trying to earn love and you start showing up as yourself. When you show up already loving yourself, when you stand in your truth with self-respect instead of shame, people feel that too. That's the energy of confidence. It's calm, grounded, and quite frankly, magnetic, because the energy you put out is exactly what you attract. If you're walking around with the energy that says, I'm not confident and I need someone else to make me feel worthy, you'll attract people who reflect that right back to you. You know, the ones who don't value you or sense your insecurity and take advantage of it. But when you walk through life owning who you are, you attract people who meet you where you are. People who respect you, who understand you, and who genuinely want to be with you. Now, when you start believing that your worth depends on someone else saying yes to you, you hand over your power. You start living for approval instead of living in alignment, and you start letting other people's reactions decide how you feel about yourself. But the fact is that the only yes you need is yours. Because the real power, the kind no one can ever take away, is not in caring whether someone likes you or not. It's in knowing that you'll still be okay even if they don't, even if they say no. That's confidence, and most importantly, it's freedom. When you stop needing validation to feel enough, you stop performing or trying to prove yourself to anyone. You're just yourself, unapologetically, fully, and freely. And that's what taking your power back really means. It's choosing yourself over approval. It's trusting that anyone who's meant for you won't need convincing. And it's realizing that your worth was never up for negotiation in the first place. Look, the world isn't short on people. So when one person says no, it just opens up space for someone else who's meant to say yes and to come into your life. That's not a loss. That's actually alignment and redirection. Because rejection isn't a dead end. It's literally life rerouting you towards what's actually right for you. It's filtering out what isn't aligned so you can finally stop chasing the yeses that drain the hell out of you and your energy and start receiving the ones that fill you up. So the next time someone says no, instead of questioning your worth, be grateful. Because rejection doesn't close doors. It actually clears the paths for the right ones to open. So, before we wrap up, I mentioned earlier that I would talk about 4 things that you could start putting into practice today to help you take your power back through every no. So, here they are. Number 1, reframe the no. When you hear no, don't turn it inward. Ask yourself, what's this no clearing space for? When you do that, it turns rejection into redirection every single time. Number 2, stop trying to control the outcome. Once you've been real and said your truth, your part's done. What happens next isn't up to you, and that's okay. Because the people who are meant for you won't need convincing. Number 3, be thankful for the no's. Every no shows you something. Maybe it exposes someone's true character or reveals that they weren't who they said they were in the first place. Either way, it's clarity. And clarity is something to be grateful for. And finally, number 4, remember that you get to say no too. Listen, you're not just on the receiving end of things, okay? You're just not. You have the right to walk away from anyone or anything that doesn't feel right for you. Your no is what keeps your power where it belongs, and that's with you. Well, that's all I have for today. If you like today's episode, please like and subscribe to the channel. Also, I want to invite you to join our free online community by downloading the Herpes Wellness app. There, you'll have access to our forums where you can ask questions, seek advice, and help other members along their journeys. And for a limited time, anyone who signs up for the free support membership, we're going to upgrade you to the Connection membership, which includes access to a bunch of really cool features, like a listing in our member directory and a member search, direct messaging with other members, a group and love connection chat lounge, member-led events, both virtual and in person, plus monthly live streams with me where we talk about everything herpes. Normally, this membership is $19 a month, but you'll get this access for free for as long as you remain a member. And if you're wondering about privacy, we've got you totally covered. The app icon and push notifications say H Wellness. So if someone happens to see your screen, you won't disclose your status unintentionally. So be sure to join us at Herpes Wellness. The link to download the app for both the App Store and Google Play is in the description box below. And if there are any herpes topics you'd like for me to discuss on this show, please leave them in the comments. I would love to hear from you. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you the next time on the Herpes Wellness Podcast. Bye for now.